Not only do these guys give you the best jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. You can do so at kslsports.com/contests and listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Ben, you were not with us yesterday, but Christian brought up, and I don't know, what did they put out to tease the podcast, Christian, that we talked about yesterday?
It was a clip of the interpreter calling the bank and pretending to be Shohei Ohtani to authorize a transaction. So
this podcast series, it's a 30 for 30 podcast called The Betrayal of Shohei Ohtani. The first 2 episodes, Ben, there's going to be 6, but the first 2 were released today, and I did give them a listen. Because Christian and I, as we were talking about, Christian was curious to our opinion because it was when this story happened, it was before he was our producer. And I said, as usual.
Really?
I know, it surprised me too. But I said, as usual, I was skeptical, whereas you were more willing to accept the explanation.
Which I have since flipped on, but.
A little bit. Okay,
yeah.
Whatever. I even brought up David James because I remember arguing with David James about it off the air. And DJ brought up the point of, well, the FBI and the feds did an investigation and the interpreter pled guilty and went to jail. Mm-hmm. And how do you get around that? You know, if you have a good conspiracy, how exactly do you get around that? Well, I'm eager for this whole thing. And I'm going to listen to the whole thing because I got to tell you, the first 2 episodes were pretty good. It's hosted by ESPN investigative reporter Tisha Thompson, who was the reporter who broke the story in the first place. So the first 2 episodes, really the first episode, she goes through how she got into it and the first steps of getting into it. And then the second episode that was released today is excerpts, but a lot of a 90-minute conversation that she had with the interpreter. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. It's called The Betrayal of Shohei Ohtani. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing that the conclusion that they come to at the end of these 6 episodes will be that this guy did it. And I bring it up because the sound we played yesterday, it was a clip of the interpreter calling the bank and saying, this is Shohei Ohtani.
Right.
Give me this money. But I'll say this. If you listen to the first 2 episodes and the first 2 episodes only, it's much better for the conspiracy crowd.
Okay. Which is smart.
It's
more salacious.
It's much better for the conspiracy crowd. So, Ben, it's obvious somewhat, it's pretty obvious, that this reporter, Tisha, got her tip or her start on the federal investigation end. Mm-hmm. She got alerted to the federal investigation that was already going on into the bookie. So the bookie was the one getting investigated, and this bookie is like bookie to the stars. I told you like a year ago I listened to another interview that he did, because I think this story
it's really interesting.
Is really fascinating. So they're looking into the bookie, and she gets a word that the bookie is connected to Shohei Ohtani. Mm-hmm. Then she gets, in a very clandestine fashion, to look at bank transfers from Shohei Ohtani to the bookie. Basically, like I can't remember, I think it was $200,000 increments, wiring to the bookie, but from Shohei's account. So she's discovering all of this. She's hearing from other sources that it was the interpreter who is actually doing it, but she's not really coming to any sort of conclusion. But she gets her ducks in a row right before the story is about to break, and that's when she alerts Ohtani and Ohtani's people that they're going to go with the story, and she calls and asks for an interview with Shohei Ohtani. Mm-hmm. She then gets responded to from a crisis PR guy who gets back to her.
Uh-huh.
And Ben, PR people are the worst people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
They lie for a living. I've talked about this. But I truly believe that normal PR people, kind of like marketing people for cigarette companies, they can go to work and do the worst thing ever and then come home and be fairly normal people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Crisis PR people, their job isn't just to lie. Their job is to lie about the world's worst things. So keep that in mind, because I don't trust crisis PR people in the slightest. Because they're hired to get people out of a jam, essentially.
Bury a crisis.
Yeah. And this guy is like the world's most famous crisis PR person, hired by Hillary Clinton and
It's like if you hire Johnny
list.
Cochran.
Yes, a laundry list of people. And this is their crisis PR guy. So the crisis PR guy says, well, maybe you can interview Shohei at some point in time, but we'll let you talk to the interpreter. So she gets a chance to interview this interpreter, Ben,
Mizuhara.
for 90 minutes.
Okay.
And it's a long time. And he comes on and he basically cops to everything. He said, I gambled. I did this. Shohei had nothing to do with it. And I didn't want to tell him about it and all this stuff, kind of a song and dance, answering questions. She even notes in it that it does sound kind of rehearsed.
Okay.
Where if you were rehearsing your answers to take the fall, you would sound a little bit like that.
Like that?
But at one point, he admits, because she's asking him all these details, she's saying, okay, how did you pay the bookie? What did you do to pay the bookie? Then you went to Shohei and confessed to Shohei and then asked Shohei to pay off your gambling debts. And he said, yes, that's what I did. And then she said, well, why didn't he give you the money and you pay it off? And he said, well, Shohei didn't trust me to not gamble away the money, so he was going to wire it directly. And then she said, well, it's going in $200,000 increments and you're making payments every couple of weeks. And he said, yeah, that's for, I don't know. It was like that's how the guy said he wanted to be paid.
Okay.
And they labeled it as a loan. And so Shohei has paid this guy 9 times. And so she asks him, she said, do you have access to his bank account? And he said, no. She said, so you sat Shohei down and he did it. And he's like, yeah, on the computer. He did it
This
all
is their
these
first
times.
interview.
Yeah, this is the only time this
Okay.
guy has ever been interviewed, ever, after this scandal went down. And so she asked about the relationship, and he said, well, I felt guilty at first, but then we went back to business as usual. And she's like, you felt normal then? He's like, yeah, he acted normal. She's like, so you had to go up to him every 2 weeks and have him do one of these wire transfers, and it was still just normal? Businesses, that felt normal to you? You didn't feel bad about having to go? And anyway, there's all these, like, things that are kind of weird.
Also, it's 17 million?
It's 17, but he was talking about, she had known at the time about like 4.5, or got him to admit to 4.5. She knew.
And Shohei was just going to cover it.
This
out of the goodness of his heart.
This Tricia Thompson was a skilled interviewer. I mean, she sat on a bunch of stuff and she let him.
She gave him enough rope.
Gave him enough rope. Yeah. And so he's admitting to $4.5 million, and Shohei's sending these wires, and he has to bother Shohei to do it every couple of weeks, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then it ends with he did it and Shohei knew nothing, and that's the end of the interview. So the next day, they're going to publish. She said they were like 15 minutes away from publishing, and she gets a call from the crisis PR guy. Oh, I forgot to mention, the crisis PR guy was on the interview the whole time.
Okay.
And he would interject from time to time, but all his interjections were protecting Shohei, not the interpreter.
Right.
So the interpreter's confessing to everything, and the crisis PR guy's like, I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
But then when something includes Shohei, like she asked him, she asked the interpreter, what's your pushback against people who are going to say you're just taking the fall? And then all of a sudden the crisis PR guy's like jumping in and sticking up for Shohei. So the next day, 15 minutes before everything broke, the crisis PR guy calls her and said, everything that guy said is a lie. Shohei knew nothing about it. Shohei didn't wire anybody anything. Shohei was stolen from.
Yeah.
So they about-faced on not everything, but almost everything that guy said. And then she got a chance to ask him some questions over text. And he said, yes, I did it. No, Shohei didn't know. No. And basically that's where the second podcast kind of ends.
Okay.
Now, I also heard her do an interview that says they're going to interview people that were part of the federal investigation, like an IRS agent. So we're going to find out more about the investigation. And she talked to the bookie. There's a whole episode with an interview with the bookie. So my conclusion, if you're going to name it the betrayal of Shohei Ohtani, I think I could have some sort of idea where they land. But after this interview, I don't know if I would have bought that either. Not for a second. I'm listening to this whole thing thinking this is exactly what a dude taking the fall would say and do.
You know, the famous version we have brought up a couple of times is Carmelo Anthony's cousin saying it was my bag that had weed in it at the airport, even though it was like Carmelo's bag, obviously, or allegedly or whatever. But he takes the fall for it because you have a fall guy. You have somebody who will eat a fine or a 30-day jail sentence, or, I mean, in this case, was this guy going to jail for 6 years?
5 years, yeah.
Long time. It's a big one. He probably won't spend that long in jail, but
still
whatever.
Jail, still federal prison.
Scary. Yeah, this guy's sacrificing a lot, or he just absolutely did it. If I'm the crisis PR person and I walk through all of this, I don't see a world where the best outcome has or includes Shohei having any knowledge of this. And again, you're talking about PR people being liars. Their job is to paint this to look good.
For their client.
And Shohei is the person who can afford this PR crisis person. So Shohei and his people, and the Dodgers or whoever goes to this is the man, this PR person's the man, and says, what's the best way to do it? And I'm sure that PR person said, the further you are from this, the better. No, if you say I was just trying to be a nice guy by paying off these debts, everyone's going to think they're your debts. Simply put, that's how people view the world. If you're paying off somebody else's $17 million or at this point $4.5 million debt, everyone's going to think that he's just the fall guy and it's actually your money. So you have to say, maybe that was the case. Maybe you are such a nice guy and you were going to bail this dude out, this interpreter out, and you were going to be there for him. But that's not going to look good for you. So our conclusion or statement or our side of it has to be that you got stolen from. I will be curious to see what the next 4 episodes of this do look like and how they get to that point where, to David James's point, you don't think the FBI or the IRS or whoever wouldn't have recognized if this was clearly a fall guy situation when it comes to $17 million. That does feel like a lot, but I don't know, man. You look at the Sorsby situation where he was having family members place bets in his names. It's like, very clearly this is happening. Whether Shohei did it or not, there are very clearly people gambling on games in the name of somebody else or in their own name for somebody else, including very high-level people, so they can have some distance and a potential fall guy, or you get a kickback or a cut or whatever, specifically for when you get caught. But man, this doesn't look good. Shohei's out for a while now. I know that it's unrelated. He's got an injury, but he's dealing with still. But yeah, this is bizarre. Where do you fall on it? Do you feel like do you think Shohei's gonna be what's the word I'm looking for? Cleared entirely?
It appears that's where it's going. But I honestly don't know. I still cannot get over. So we looked it up yesterday, and the interpreter placed somewhere, what was it, Christian, like $60 million worth of bets with this one specific bookie. And by the way, why do you pick a bookie instead of a legitimate? Mm-hmm. Because it's not being monitored.
Right.
I mean, so... and by the way, the interpreter did claim that he had no idea that it was illegal. That what was happening was illegal. Had no clue. Just met this guy. Guy said he ran a book. Decided to start. He said he'd give me some credit. So I started betting, and I had no idea it was
these
illegal.
Were like crazy things they were betting on, right?
Yeah,
like
wild
European
stuff.
basketball. So like all over the world, nonstop, crazy, truly like compulsive gambling.
But what I can't get over is the bookie. And again, I've listened to a different interview with the bookie, and he does not implicate Shohei Ohtani.
Uh-huh.
But a bookie is not giving $60 million worth of credit to a dang interpreter.
Correct.
And I realize that bookies make a living on exploiting, people's worth and probably aren't in the business of putting the brakes on people gambling more, but it's still their credit and their money. And if you give somebody a $60 million credit that has no prayer of ever paying that back, he was making $90,000 with the Angels, $90,000 a year. You're telling me a bookie is going to give that guy $60 million worth of credit? Or even allow that person to get in hawk up to $17 million?
I don't think I've ever dealt with an interpreter for anyone with the Jazz. Nobody that jumps out that I can remember. There are like kind of people around sometimes. There are like a lot of Jazz players, I don't know if people know this, will have their own like videographer. So like they'll be like, yeah, I can't remember. I think it was Walker Kessler, and of course it only lasted 5 games last year. But this kid was suddenly in the media room, and I was like, oh, who are you? He's like, I'm Walker Kessler's photog. Like I come and I make videos of him, and then I post it on social media, and then ideally Walker can create a social media presence and make money off of that, and it's more money than whatever he pays his photographer to do. I can't even remember who it was. Maybe John Collins, or I don't even remember who it was. Walker Kessler's not giving that kid access to his bank account. You know what I mean?
They hinted that part of that story is to come too. In the interview I heard with her, it's
going to have to.
She talked about how he was able to wall off everybody, or at least tease that he was able to wall off everybody on the outside of Shohei. He became the Rasputin, if you will. So I'll be curious to see how that piece falls into place.
I've never done this. This is not the way we abuse Christian, but I've never said, hey, Christian, go buy Jake and I lunch. Here's my debit card. I've never done that. But if I did, and I said, hey, Christian, I need you to go pick up some coffee for Jake and I wouldn't say, here's my bank account number and my routing number. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Again, I'll be curious to hear what the rest of the podcast says. I believe you that Tisha Thompson, is that her name? Tisha Thompson, excuse me, is very good at her job. I mean, she clearly is. She's getting this story. I have a hard time believing that the interpreter had access to $60 million without anyone noticing. Or $4 million. Or $17 million.
As far as Tisha goes, I will say this. I think she wanted it to be Shohei. Because what reporter wouldn't?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's such a different
it's a juicy
story.
apple.
Yeah. And so that leads me to more believe Shohei, because she wanted to find it. She wanted to get to the bottom of this story. And if her reporting comes to the conclusion that it's the interpreter, I mean, it's not like she just put the brakes on it after she got fed this interview.
If the whole
you know what I mean?
Sorsby story ended up being he's got a loser brother-in-law.
Right.
Who was betting all of his money. It's not a story. And nobody's chasing it down.
Right.
But it's generating so much traffic to your website or your podcast or your radio show or whatever that you're going to keep pulling at that thread. It's worth doing. Tisha Thompson, yes, actually, and I know people fear this about the media. Like, media loves a good story. Love a meaty story.
My point in bringing that up is I don't think her motivations would be to run cover for Shohei Ohtani. I think her motivation was to break the biggest story of her career, which she did. But it could have been
way bigger.
Way bigger.
Yeah.
So that's more what I'm alluding to. And by the way, congratulations to her for not just making up some crazy story about Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, right.
From actually getting to the bottom of it, or we'll see how it goes. But I got the impression, especially from the first episode, that she wanted to get the story. And when she found out it was Shohei, she went to great lengths to make sure that, I mean, she explains this, how rumors couldn't get out of her shop and she explained this too, which was interesting, that rumors tend to go in circles. So if Shohei, being a gambler, gets out of your, gets told to somebody, then it gets told to somebody else, and next thing you know, you go to a source and they're just telling you the rumor that you created back to you.
A game of telephone.
And she goes through how very careful they were about reporting all of this out. So if it were Shohei, I would be shocked if this lady ran cover for him. She seemed like she was pretty hell-bent in getting to the bottom of the story. And not that she was hoping it was Shohei, but I bet she was hoping it was Shohei.
Sure. What I hate, and it's why I hate the gambling aspect of sports right now, is that whether it's Shohei this time or the next Shohei, it is coming. I mean, in a sense, Sorsby is the guy.
Yeah, but you want it to be Michael Porter Jr.'s idiot brother and not the biggest star on the planet.
Correct.
And he is. I mean, if you take his worldwide fame, he might be, he or Lionel are probably the biggest athletes on the planet. No offense to LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
There he is, Lionel.
But, you know, the rumors of Michael in the 90s and why he actually left the NBA have been there. This is not new. I mean, the Chicago Black Sox did this 106 years ago, 107 years ago. They threw the World Series. And it was the best team and some of the best players, Shoeless Joe Jackson, throwing it to make extra money when they weren't making as much. And, you know, whether it was gambling compulsion or just needing a little extra money or hating the owner of the team at the time, who cares? Inevitably, it will be the top player. And that's why, again, getting in bed with the gambling companies and allowing everyone to feel like this is so compatible feels like a mistake to me.
By the way, Dodgers owner Mark Walter, the Lakers owner as well, has now been dragged into a $16 billion federal loan fraud investigation. So that's not good.
No, it's not.
He had his phone and his laptop seized.
Yeah, so that's not good.
I wouldn't even want them to take my phone or laptop. And it's just like me texting pictures to my wife of getting my blood drawn at the doctor. It's like, it's not even anything salacious. It's just like, but I still don't want that getting out for whatever reason. So yeah, if I'm Mark Walter,
no, I
scarier.
just kind of laugh because every Laker fan out there is like, whoa, they've got this owner now that's got bottomless pockets. Well, I don't know if he's signing Luka's next free agent if he's in jail.
Correct.
All right, stay tuned. So there you go. I had to catch you up. It is not that I make a living on promoting ESPN things, but it is worth a listen. It's good. They're doing a good job on this thing, and they're rolling it out with there's 2 original episodes, and then I believe they're releasing the rest on Tuesdays and Thursdays through August. And yeah, I'd give it a listen. Compelling. I had so much anxiety listening to the interview with the interpreter, because if it is true that he's just a degenerate gambler, it gave off that vibe of just how much trouble he got in so quickly.
Not to be a narc, but did you have your laptop seized? Didn't you get a new laptop? Where is it?
Oh, I left it down with our IT guy.
It's there.
I just left it there.
He just has it.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. After I got the new one, I was like, you take this thing. It barely works.
Oh, yeah. Where's your new one? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, it's at home.
I think it's for work.
Oh, I'll use it for work. Plenty. The problem is it's huge.
Okay.
And
yeah, you're right. You're gonna have to buy a new bag.
I don't have a bag that works with it.
You could seize my work laptop.
I thought you were talking about my old one. No, my old one's downstairs with the IT guy. No, my new one has not been seized.
I've told you, this is the saga of my current laptop, is you could seize mine. FBI or whatever, you're never going to get into it because, and I probably shouldn't even say this on air because we have to do so many trainings, my password does contain the letter E, and the letter E does not work on my work laptop. So you're not getting into it. Seize it all you want, bud. You're not getting through the password stage.
Gonna have to smash it.
You can't get E. E doesn't work.
How do you get in?
I know the tricks.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have to share that with the FBI.
No, it's never good when the FBI seizes your electronics, even if you are Mark Walter.
Correct. Worse if you're Mark Walter. Yeah, take my work laptop.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. I've got several photos of Ryan Smith that I took at a Jazz game.
Now, if they wanted your phone.
Again, there's going to be videos of me in a hospital gown. And then the Yellowstone trip.
You know, if it got seized, you'd be going through every.
I'd be re-racking.
I'd be like, okay, what did I say to that person?
Yeah,
and
right.
That person?
That is scary.
Who did I send that dirty picture to?
This context for the FBI is different than when I sent it to my friend from high school. Yeah, you're right.
All right, stay tuned. More Jake and Ben coming up next.
We have Hot Take Tuesday?
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. We want to do Hot Take Tuesday?
I've got one.
All right, lead us off.
All right, let me see how I worded this. I have a hummingbird feeder outside of my house right now. I really like it. I can lay on my couch, I can look out my front window, and I can watch the hummingbird feeder. And I can sometimes see a hummingbird. I also loved being up at Yellowstone. I saw a bald eagle. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I used to like going to the Tracy Aviary. He's now dead, but the condor. It's like your wingspan is what, like 13? Whatever. It's absurd. It's huge. My hot take is all birds in between hummingbird and probably bald eagle, worthless. That size of bird, we don't need them anymore. Evolution could have wiped them all out. I need birds that are either so small that they're a novelty, like a hummingbird, or so enormous. I'm like, how are you flying? Every other bird doesn't need to exist, and I would be totally fine.
No love for the cardinal.
No middle-class birds. No blue jays.
The blue jay isn't doing it for you.
Yeah, crows, I get that you're smart, but I don't need you. I want so little that it's hilarious that you're alive, or absolutely enormous freak, how are you flying?
Where does the vulture
Oh, yeah,
fit
huge freak. Yeah, absolutely. Fits in. Ostrich, even ostrich might be too big. Maybe we need a limit on, like, you can only walk. Flightless birds, you're probably out. Emu, we don't need you. So you do need to be able to fly, but like the mid-sized sedan of birds, get the hell out.
Not doing it for you.
Not doing it for me.
All right.
Really little or so big I don't understand how you get off the ground.
It's a shame Lloyd's not in today. He's a huge bird guy. He's a big bird watcher.
The bird people out there are mad at you.
Parrots, don't need you. Yeah, right. The pigeons, seagulls, I get that you played a huge role in our state.
I had a buddy growing up whose parents loved their parrots more than they loved him.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not huge on bird people.
Bird people are serious about it, are really mad at you right now. What about their sweet song?
Are there any birds who you actually like the way they sound?
I don't pay enough attention, to be honest.
Eagle, cool screech. But like, have you ever been like, at what point in your life you're like, wow, I'm really happy to wake up to that bird crowing outside of my house? I don't think that's a thing anymore. I don't think that was ever really a thing. In fact, the rooster is the original alarm clock. Everyone hates that.
Oh, have you ever been to Kauai?
No.
There's roosters everywhere, just wandering around the streets, and they are so loud, so early in the morning. It's horribly obnoxious.
My wife, this is a totally great. Everyone's done this in their life. I'm sure you've done it. My wife went to our neighbor and was being like, we were like trying to make friends with this neighbor kind of. We're like, I don't know who it is in our neighborhood who has this horrible rooster or whatever, but it is ruining my life because it doesn't know. It must be blind. It doesn't know when the sun's coming up. All day long, it's crowing, and it's horrendous. And it's 9:30 at night, 6 in the morning. If you could walk the dog, you can hear it all the time.
It was their rooster.
They move out of town, and the rooster stops immediately. And the obvious answer is, by process of elimination, well, they had the rooster, and they took it with you. And the guy, Alex, shout out, I think he lives in Illinois now or Iowa or something, was nice enough to not tell my wife that's actually my rooster while she was dunking on one of our neighbors for having a rooster and what a bad person you are for owning a rooster in a residential neighborhood. Shout out Alex and his family. But when they moved away, randomly the rooster stopped. So I think my wife probably embarrassed the neighbor.
All right, Christian.
Mine will be sports focused.
Okay.
The Rams and the Bills just released alternate uniforms for this season, and the Rams ones are okay. The Bills ones are terrible. They're ugly. I know you guys aren't super Jersey people.
One?
Yeah, they're gray. They're called the Nickel City uniforms. I know you guys aren't Jersey people, so I'm not going to bore you too much. I just think the NFL needs to chill a little bit with their jersey releases. I think they're trying to catch up to the NBA You know, all the NBA teams get however many alternate jerseys every single year. A lot of the NFL teams are trying to do that, and they look bad. So I don't like it. That's my hot take. The NFL needs to stop doing alternate jerseys, or at least make them look better.
Again, my only argument, and I hate to do this, is that I'm just not sure that's that hot of a take. Have 2 jerseys, home, away, and if there's like some special event for whatever reason, maybe then. But do the Jazz need a in-season tournament jersey? Like, if you want to do a Christmas jersey, maybe. I don't know, man. But, like, how many jerseys do you need? I get you're trying to, and I feel bad. I actually feel bad. This has nothing to do with me. I feel bad. I get this question in my mailbag once a month, maybe not quite that often. Which jersey should I buy? Which player's jersey should I buy? I'm buying my kid a $130 Fanatics jersey, or whoever makes the jerseys, Nike, Adidas, whatever. Which one should I buy so I'm not wasting my money? And my answer is like Thurl Bailey. Can you find a throwback? Because I don't know if Lowry's going to be here in 4 months. I don't know if Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be here. I have no idea. Go get a Josh Howard jersey. He can't ruin his legacy. He only played here for so long.
I have a different hot take, but I'll have this hot take. Christian is the problem. Christian is the problem.
Okay.
People that care about these uniforms are the reason
You're the uniforms exist.
You are the reason this happens. The fact that you crack the mic to say it's ugly or good looking or that it's even relevant is the reason. I would love to go back to where the Detroit Pistons jersey looked like the Detroit Pistons jersey all of the time. Mm-hmm. And I could buy, I don't know why I picked the Pistons.
Sure.
Maybe because of their ugly mutation under Grant Hill in the 90s. You remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
But I could buy a Pistons jersey, regardless of the player. My kid could wear it for 20 years, and we could all move on with our lives. But because Christian and people like him care and buy stupid jerseys and do all of this stuff, they continue to feed into it. And it keeps getting worse and worse. I don't know who I'm watching on TV anymore. And I don't care. I
saw these gray jerseys yesterday on my Twitter profile, and I kid you not, I didn't know what team they were, and I couldn't figure it out.
Right.
I kind of thought it was the Bills. There was enough evidence that I was like, I think that's Buffalo, but they don't have the bison on the side. There's nothing there that makes you know that it's a Buffalo Bills uniform. The Rams are yellow and blue, and the helmet has the little horn on the side. Okay, it's a Ram. I legitimately could not tell. So I'm with you. I'm an old person too. I could not tell that this was a Buffalo jersey.
But because people like Christian care, they continue to do it. And it will not stop until Christian stops caring and people stop buying it, which probably will never happen. But when Christian says, oh, you guys aren't jersey guys, you shouldn't be either.
Correct.
It's your fault. All this mess is your fault.
I'll take it.
I had this same thought this morning. I'm glad you bring this up. So I got home from vacation yesterday, hence my hot take on birds. And I had to do all my laundry from the trip. And I pulled open the lint trap on my dryer, and inside it says installation date. The installation date on the dryer in my house that I live in is December 21st, 1989. So to your point, there's been one dryer in this home since I was 3 years old. You were like 6 years old, 8 years old. Christian was 15 years from being born. Dryer guy, though, who thought I need to have X, Y, and Z with my dryer. I need a smart dryer. I need a remote dryer. I need a delayed start. I need all these different things, has actually ruined dryers. Because now your dryer, you have to replace it every 6 years. The same reason you have to replace the jersey you bought every 2 years, because they suckered you into caring. I'm not smarter for having my dryer. We bought this house, the dryer was there, we didn't replace it, it still worked, I'm just cheap. But I didn't need all the fancy new things. You're right, Christian,
you don't need
the new
jersey.
dryer is the problem. The guy who needs to be able to see the front-loading dryer is the problem. Not the dryer itself. The original Rams jerseys, sick. The original Bills jerseys, awesome. They look great. But the guy who needs to buy a new jersey has ruined those jerseys.
Christian, who's like, I've got the city town St. Patrick's Day edition jersey for the Denver Broncos in 2024. Yeah, that's the problem.
You're the problem.
You are the problem. Yeah.
That's great.
All right. This one I can go fast.
You can save it.
Here's my hot take about how much I hate traveling. That $2,500 loses all value for me.
Okay.
Dateline Las Vegas, where it's been very hot. They canceled a bunch of flights at Harry Reid Airport. Like on the worst day, like 50% of the flights or something like that.
Like that?
But long story short, they were kicking fat people off the plane because it was a safety thing.
Okay.
Like the plane was too heavy, so they had to have people get off. And they were
Sounds like pseudoscience to me.
They were offering them.
They don't let the planes get close. They're never like 5 or 6 pounds in one direction or another.
I don't know, dude. And maybe it's so hot that the engines take more energy to run. I don't know. Don't come at me. I'm just going to tell you.
I'm more worried about the heat evaporating the gasoline at a higher rate, but okay.
I don't know.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
I'm listening. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I don't think they did this for their health. I didn't do this. But they were offering people up to $2,500 to get in credit, I'm assuming, to get off of the plane. I hate traveling so much, particularly at the end of my trip. But you can make an argument at the beginning, too, because you're excited to be on your trip. Ain't a chance I'm taking that $2,500.
That $2,500 could be a gift card to a restaurant that doesn't exist anymore. It's worthless. It doesn't matter. You're right. You're never getting off that plane. The second you sat down, the hassle you have undergone to plan the trip, get online, buy tickets, get a hotel, get a rental car, get the kids there, it's not worth $2,500. You're absolutely right.
You want me to get up off the plane?
You want me to start
go
over?
back into the airport?
You want me to hit the reset
and
button?
then have no idea when I'm going to get home? Or I could sit right here and be sleeping tonight in my own bed? And you want to give me a $2,500 credit? Honestly, I can't believe it surprised me when I read this story and I thought, not a chance I'm getting off that plane for $2,500. No way. Hate traveling so much. Imagine after a vacation in Vegas and you just want to get out of that town. And they're like, hey, would you like $2,500? No, absolutely not. So go back into the airport? No, thank you.
I've got a funny story about this, actually. My family, a while back, I was still in high school. We went to Orlando. We went to Disney World. On the return home, we had a layover in Denver. For some reason, the plane did that, right? Certain passengers, they had to ask passengers to take like $1,000 in credit to stay the night and fly into Salt Lake the next morning. I had to work the next day. Mm-hmm. So my brother and I came home. My dad, my mom, and my sister stayed in the Denver airport, took the credit, and we're like, oh, we got like $3,000 in airline credit. This is so cool.
This is our next vacation.
They never used it.
Of course they never used it.
Never used it. And my mom had to say, hey, don't tell your sister that this credit expired. She was so upset about having to sleep at the airport. If she finds out that this credit expired, she's going to throw a fit.
They actually could have lost money had they gone and gotten a different hotel to say, well, it's one extra night, but we're getting this $3,000 from the airport. What's an extra $280 to all cram into a hotel? You're right. That's the problem. I did this as well. There was I can't remember where I was going. I was booking a flight. Maybe it was I can't remember where I was going now. Minnesota or something. And some company was like, give you $180 towards your next trip. I'm sure that company went out of business 40 minutes after my flight landed because I never used it. The same thing. I don't know why I did it in the first place. But exactly right. What you run into, Christian, what your family did is exactly what they bet on.
Now,
and it's why you're smart to never get off the plane.
Now, there's someone out there who has some scam going who will email us and say, guys, I've gotten like $50,000 worth of credits. I've never paid for a vacation ever.
Anywhere.
And it's like, good for you. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. There's probably a million other life hacks out there, too, that I absolutely couldn't do. All right, there you go. That's Hot Take Tuesday. More next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
No crazy soundbite slips past these guys.
I came here for the same reason people go to the zoo.
This is another edition of the Audio Vault with Jake and Ben. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for the Audio Vault, the best sound of the day. Before we do that, how do you say this model's last name? Irina Shayk? S-H-A-Y-K? I always read it. I never know how to say it.
I don't know.
Remember she dated Tom Brady for a hot second?
Okay.
Oh, that's Devin Booker's new girlfriend.
Oh,
She's 40, he's 29. You cool with that?
buddy. How cool am I with that?
She had a baby with the A-Team guy.
Which one?
No, not the show.
Mr. T?
Bradley Cooper?
Not the show, the movie. Yeah, that one.
You've called him the A-Team guy in the past. That's how I know.
What's her name?
Oh, I don't know.
Shake?
She's 40. That's
What's her first
too
name?
old for me.
Arena?
Arena. Sounds like a
No, she's super famous. I'm embarrassed for not knowing.
like a song. Arena Shake? Irina, not A-R.
Is that the woman that Tom
Irina.
Brady had his kids
Yeah.
with?
No, that's Giselle.
I think he had a
Bridget
kid before.
Moynihan was the
Bridget
one
Moynihan.
before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not this Irina guy.
He dumped her on a plane, right? While she was pregnant?
Classy guy.
He won a bunch of Super Bowls. You can do whatever you want.
But anyway, Devin Booker, can he only date famous people?
Well, yeah, that's
seems
the
that
point
way.
of being famous.
Yeah,
Is it?
Why would you waste it on somebody else? By the way, speaking of which, before we get to our soundbite, did you see the good news for Nate Oates today?
No.
Alabama basketball's Nate Oates marries his former Crimson Tide staffer.
So a little
For whatever reason, I don't know what happened. Didn't work out with his wife.
Well, a little Sharon Moore there then.
I don't know what happened.
But you're sending him congratulations?
Happy day for Nate Oates.
Was he married before?
Former staffer. The cancer survivor he was married to?
Oh, she was a cancer
The
survivor?
one he has kids with? Yeah, he was married before. They look
Classy.
They look happy now.
All right, sound of the day. This one comes from former NFL player Plaxico Burress. Ben, famously, he shot himself in the leg at a strip club and ended up doing a year in jail.
In New York.
Seems
They
a little...
don't like you having guns in public in New York.
Doesn't the crime kind of also suit as the punishment in that circumstance? Like you shot yourself in the leg. I mean, that's...
You think that's enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you could make that argument. That's all.
Okay.
You know, the law's the
I
law.
would
Don't take it
probably
to
try
New York.
and argue with the judge, yes, if I did that to myself.
Be like, I shot myself in the
Judge,
leg.
I'm a
It's
professional
pretty
athlete
bad.
and I shot myself.
Gonna have to miss some time.
How much worse could it get?
All right. Anyway, he made some interesting comments about his time with the Jets, and keep his going to jail in mind. Here you go.
What was worse, playing for the Jets or prison?
You're a bad
J-E-T.
So they're both kind of similar because when I walked in the prison on my first day, I was like, damn, man, you are a loser. And I had the same damn feeling every day I walked through the door with the Jets. I'm like, dang, I hope we can win this weekend. Loser.
I do like. Now, look, I believe in second chances for people. I would hope when you walk into jail, you have a moment of clarity of it didn't have to be this way. Mm-hmm. My decisions have really landed me in a bad spot. I like to hear that from Plaxico Burress. That's maybe the most clear-eyed thing I've ever heard him say. It's like that's an intelligent thought. I'm glad he felt that way walking into jail. Not to criticize everyone who's ever been to jail, do whatever you want, but I'm glad he did feel that way. The Jets completely unable to avoid catching strays at all costs is really tough.
Can you imagine someone saying that about the Jazz?
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm just
Sure.
just to put it in perspective, like how much damage you have to do to your personal brand to have a former player compare walking into your building to the day he walked into prison. You know how much damage, how bad that you have to be as a professional sports franchise to have that just be a, ha 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 ha, yeah, the Jets are terrible.
Good one.
Way to go. That's a hilarious joke.
Good joke, Plaxico.
For it to even be a question that Lil Wayne asks you, which one is worse?
Yeah.
That is, people have misconceptions about Salt Lake, but you know what? The franchise
Utah has
here
taken a lot of strays, for sure.
The franchise here, extremely well run. I've never heard, or franchises, I've never heard a former Jazz, RSL, whatever, say walking into that building was like walking into prison. You've never heard that ever in a million years. Do you know how bad you have to be as a sports franchise to have a former player making a joke like that?
There's the
Like that?
Derek Harpers, Rony Cycles of the world, you go play in Utah, et cetera, that we have heard. We have heard people say, oh, he doesn't want to go to Utah or whatever. You get way more Carlos Boozers or Yusuf Nurkic's who say, this is great. You should play here. In fact, most places are not as enjoyable as playing for that team, et cetera. Yeah, to be the New York Jets. And also is rubbed in worse that Plaxico made his hay and, in fact, won a Super Bowl with the Giants.
I'd say his best years were probably with the Steelers, but yeah.
But I think won a title with Eli Manning. To then have that your crosstown team dunking on you, tough.
Felt like I was walking into prison.
That was funny, though.
Thought, man, I am a loser.
And
then everybody to go, ha, 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 ha. Yes, the level. Jets are losers.
That's a funny joke.
Ha, ha, ha.
Good audio.
Rough. Be like the Kings.
I am a loser. Which is also how I felt when I played for the Jets. Ugh.
Tough. Live at 5 coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.